Warning, this is not a how-to guide. The contents of this channel are to illustrate how I did something, not how you should. Doing what I do may result in injury, trauma, fines, jail, financial ruin, or the loss of significant others. Well guys, what a week, well it was actually 2 weeks, but yeah, that last video, that was interesting. Anyhow, back on the kitchen, gonna get these things going. I'm not stating what we're gonna get done today. Every time I do that, I jinx myself. But we are gonna try and get a few of these shiplap roof things in. So I have to get some. Wow, these. I'm totally forgetting what they're called right now. Good Lord. The wooden things across the top. Furring strip. Jeez. Wow. Like I say, I have changed what I'm using for my ceiling. That paneling is just too thin. And, you know, that's the one area that I can afford to lose a ½ inch or so. So we'll go with that. But the walls, I'm still maintaining my my 1/8 inch thick wood paneling. I'm hell bent on using it. So we're gonna go with that, because again, I have to fit. The plan is to put a Murphy bed in here, and that has to drop down, and I'm gonna be so upset if it misses by an inch. So yeah, that's why we're sticking with the plan on that, because mathematically it said it would fit. So let's get going. Alright, here we go. I think it's Friday. I think today's Friday. February something. Anyhow, so as you can see, what we got going on here is I'm trying to get this ceiling started, but I think I need to do that wall back there first. I think that would look cleaner to have the wall covered by these rather than the wall butting up to this. Because then I would need a trim piece, because I am not going to cut it that perfect. So we'll get these back down. But going with this shiplap, what I'm finding is a potential, I don't want to say it a problem, but you can see it gaps differently, because these aren't nice and straight like they should be. So I'll have to push this over to make it, you know, so it joins together correctly. And then the other thing I'm going back and forth about is, do I want to have just one thing of seam right here, or do I want to stagger them? You know, I know usually they tell you to stagger, but this isn't for weatherproofing or anything else. This is for pure aesthetics. I'm honestly leaning to just one seam with a little seam transition piece here, because then I'll only have 2 of them through this whole section of the bus, because these are, like I say, these are 12 foot in length. So that'll get me almost to the front, if not all the way to the front. So I think I'm just going to do the one seam. Again, this is going to be purely aesthetics, so whatever we decide to do. But that's what we're going to get going on here, is getting this wall skinned, which means I got to run some electrical, because I decided I do want some electrical, which is why I wasn't working on this yesterday. I got to figure out where I want my switches and stuff to go, because I think I should put a switch right here to go that direction, and for the kitchen. This is going to be a 3-way. I'll have at least one here, and then another one either at this end of the kitchen, probably in here somewhere. So anyhow, I'm gonna get that figured out, and then we'll get cracking. So today's public service announcement is to always have one of those, the first aid kit, close by, because no matter what you're doing, you're gonna need it. Yep, there's some evidence. Yeah, it's bleeding all over the damn place. So I'm just running wire. Shouldn't be that difficult, but I managed to cut my finger. Pretty righteous. It went down pretty deep. Just pulling wire. So yeah, make sure you got a first aid kit handy. I'm running an extra wire in case, you know, a couple years from now I decide to do something. So I've got extra wires going to the boxes. But this one is going to control the hallway lights, and then this one is going to control the single series of lights that go down here. Actually, no, they're going to control the side lights. If it seems like I'm just going back and forth, it's because I am. I drew all this out, but when I start walking it, it just doesn't seem to flow as good as it does on paper. So this is a map of the lighting for the entire bus, and it looks like a ridiculous amount of lighting, but remember, these are only 2-inch LED lights. They're not stupid bright. They're decent, but they're not overly bright, so I needed quite a few. And once you're in the bus, it doesn't look as bad as it does on paper. Let's just go with that. So this is the current plan. This is the layout of the bus. So I've got 5 zones of lighting. I've got the first zone, which is basically just a walk-through. It's not really bright. It's kind of dim, but it, you know, so you can get to the front and back. And I've got 3-way switches on both ends of this zone. And then I've got just a short zone, which also has a 3-way for the hallway there right in front of the bathroom. And then I've got the kitchen zone, which is, you know, half the bus damn near. Only one switch though, but it's kind of in the middle. And then I've got the front zone, the entertainment area, and it'll have a 3-way switch so you can turn it on as you're coming in, or if you're sitting in the chair. And then the last zone is the bedroom at the bottom, and it'll probably have a 3-way, one next to the bed and one as you walk in. I haven't figured that out yet. A little update, we've actually regressed. We haven't made progress. We made progress, and then I've had to undo the progress. I had to take these boards out of the window because in the direct sunlight I could still see them. So we're going with the old black paint on the side that faces the windows, and then we'll put that window back together. I've got this all buttoned up. Don't have to paint these because the window's painted. But I wanted to go extra heavy here because I'm getting one of those low profile microwaves, so I wanted something to screw to the wall. It's going to be nice and secure, so I think that's going to do the trick. And then we're going to get back on it here as soon as that paint dries. I'm going to hang another ceiling panel. I'm still trying to work out the lighting because I don't want to get it so close to the cupboards that it just lights up the cupboard. But again, I don't want it too far away that it's dim over there. Kind of a catch-22 because I really don't know what these... I mean, I have plenty of them in the bathroom, but that's just a different animal. So anyhow, that's where we're at. It takes a little longer to drill through than I thought, but yep, just a little 2 1/4 inch hole saw.
Oh, God.
And then just peekaboo up in there like that.
Out of here. Got to get this out just so I can put that together.
Well, it's Sunday, February 4th, and it is crappy outside. It's cold, miserable. I don't know what the light was showing last night, but we got that ceiling portion done. I got about 3 more sticks, not quite enough to get all the way across, but it's too crappy to go get more. We got to wire these lights up. I got to put a switch in for these lights. That's basically what I'm kind of focusing on today. Get this panel re-secured. Maybe get the next panel on, I don't know. With it crappy out like this, whatever we can get done is what we'll take. So anyhow, here we go. Well, it's Monday. We've been working real slow, tedious wiring, but we've got the first kitchen lights installed. And I know this camera's making it look a lot brighter than it is. It's not terrible, but I do want some more lighting, so we're going to put a couple more in the middle and see if we can supplement that a little bit. I don't want that dingy RV-ish look to it, so we're going to get to going on that. You may have noticed I just drilled that in the wrong board. It's nothing that liquid nails and some sandpaper can't fix. Alright, it's still Monday, but it's evening. It's dark out. We're finally in the bus with its own lighting here, which is kind of nice, but these thin walls that I keep going back, I don't want to say back and forth on, but trying to find an outlet box. As you can see, this is one of those after construction type things that you're supposed to push through the drywall. It would almost work in the windows, but not anywhere else. So I wanted to show what I've been using, and it's completely wrong. So, you know, don't be blowing me up, but these are from Home Depot. This a little, 1.5 inch thick plastic box. And then, you know, it goes like if this was a 1x3 or a 2x4. You know, you screw it in from the side there, which that's all well and good, but as you can see, there's nothing to screw the plugs into. So what I've been doing is using these incorrectly. This is called a mud ring, and it's designed to go on with the proud sticking up, but I've been spinning it and shoving that inside there. As you can kind of see, that's what I did with that one, and it's been working fantastic. It's a little tight, especially if you're running like GFIs or those USB plugs, which I am. They'll fit, but you got to make sure your wiring's nice and tidy. So anyhow, I did want to just show that's how I'm getting by with my my walls that are thin, like this one here. You can see, really see how it's all. It's basically the thickness of a 2x4 or, you know, 1x3, and it's been working great. So I'm just going to keep running with that. Anyhow, I just wanted to throw that little nugget at you. So on the agenda for tomorrow is to get that plug finished. I've got the wiring started, but then I realized I've got to tie into that one with the GFI circuit, so I've got to change the routing of that plug, which is easy because the wiring does drop down there. So I'll just run that plug over to here, put the GFI here, and run them in series, and then take this line and drop it down into where the breaker box is going to go. And then I have to put a plug down there for the dishwasher, because I did bring the dishwasher in. It's sitting up at the front of the bus. But I think we've decided it's going to go 3-drawer chest at the far end, the sink, the dishwasher, the stove here, and then I have another 3-drawer wider, a 24-inch. That's an 18-inch. That's a 24. And I'll tell you, 24-inch cabinetry is plenty big. I bought a 36-incher, and I don't even know if it's going to fit, because that's as big as this one. So, hindsight, I would have just stuck with the 24-inch. Those are plenty big for an RV. But I've got a 36. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. And then I've got the overheads, which, again, I bought way too many. Originally, this whole top was going to be overhead shelving, but then I had the epiphany. I got a low-profile microwave on order, so that's going to go here, right above the stove. Hoses me because I can't run the cabinetry over there because that'll block that window. And I can't run it over there because that'll block that window. So most of my overheads are going to go on that side now. And maybe one back there, I'm not sure. We'll see, but that's it. Well, guys, it's Tuesday, and the struggle is real. It's days like this that just make me want to throw in the towel. It was going well. I was running my power, starting to lay out the dishwasher. I was like, oh, let's put the handle on the dishwasher, because trying to open it with these. So I fished the handle out, no problem. There's a little bag of bolts that came with it. I don't know if you can see that little tiny quarter bolt looking thing. It's designed for an Allen wrench. So I was trying to be very careful and pouring it out on this black book, and that little bastard went schwink, and I can't find it. It's gone forever. It's like a 10mm socket. So anyhow, I gotta go take a break because I'm about ready to just throw this whole damn thing out the window. And probably be done for the day, to be honest. But progress is happening. It just keeps going backwards once in a while. Well, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 6th of February, something like that. And we're still fuming about this damn dishwasher set screw. So we're kind of just taking not a siesta from that, but a little breaky poo, because yeah, I don't want to get mad and throw that thing out the window. So I had to confirm. I've never done it before, but as you may have noticed, I'm using standard household switches for my 12-volt systems. And that includes the 3-way. And every time I'd look up a 3-way switch for an RV setup, they were always using these on-off-on switches, which they call it a 2-way in an automotive application. The whole thing was it's just weird to me. So this is an on-off-on. It's got 3 positions in it. And it works like a 3-way switch in a house, where if you put it on in one switch, you can turn it off at the other switch by clicking it to one of the on positions. And unfortunately, if one of these is set to the off position, the other switch won't work at all. So this is why I didn't want to go with this on, off, on. I just want on and off and be done. So this is why I didn't want to go with this switch. I didn't know, but it made sense that the voltage doesn't matter. A switch doesn't care if it's 12 volts or 120 volts. So you can still use a household 3-way switch in a bus conversion or RV, whatever you're doing. It does require 4 wires, just like a household application. And it's a little weird to wrap your head around, but basically you have what I'm going to call a primary 3-way switch and the secondary 3-way switch. It's on the same circuit, but I call one of them the primary because it's the one that gets the first hot from the breaker. The other switch doesn't get a line from the breaker. It gets a line from the primary switch. So that's kind of what you just got to kind of keep in mind. They're wired the same, but like I say, the other switch does not get a 12-volt hot from the breaker. It gets a 12-volt hot from this primary switch. Alright guys, here's my down and dirty illustration of what I did to make high voltage switches work in a low voltage application. Because high voltage, such as your house, has a hot, common, and ground, but on cars you only have a hot and a ground. There is no common wire. The ground is the common, I guess, for concept purposes, but you have 2 switches that you're trying to use. They both have to be 3-ways. You can't use a 3-way on one and a 2-way on the other. You have a primary switch and your secondary switch, or switch 1 and switch 2. It doesn't matter. Whichever one's closest to the battery or your hot source of power, that's switch 1. And that's just going to come up and connect here to this screw right here, which is either going to be black or silver. It'll say, something to identify it as the hot wire. Then you have 2 other, they're called travelers or line. It's not a load line. That's what feeds the light bulb. But I just made them line 1 and line 2. They basically connect this switch to the other switch. That's all they do. You don't connect them to anything else. And then off of the non-primary switch, or switch 2, where the power line is designed to come in, where it says hot, well, that's what's going to be the biggest difference. Is that's actually going to feed your lights, or multiple lights, depending on how many. I was going to say I've got 12 on one circuit, but they're LEDs, so they draw very low power. That's what I know. Like I say, I'm not an electrician, but this does work, and it's not shorting out. And the other thing I did want to point out, you don't need this ground wire. I put it in here just for you automotive people to kind of understand that there is a ground. But the only ground you have to have is the one for your lights up here off the load side. And again, wire color doesn't matter. In household applications, the hot wire is black, but in our automotive applications, the hot wire is usually red. Or, don't get stuck on wire color. It really doesn't matter. You just have to know which one is the positive and which one's the negative. I just ran the ground off the light straight to the frame of the bus, and I didn't even mess with any of this, because even if these were illuminated switches, they're not going to work, because these are 110 high voltage lights, and I'm only running 12 volts. It's not going to light up. So don't get illuminated switches. because they're not going to work. So, as you can see, I got this just kind of sketched in. I don't have the ground hooked up. You know, it's a 12-volt system. It really doesn't even need a ground, but I'm still going to do it. But this is my hot coming from the breaker. And let's go look at the other one. And this one's really just thrown in here. So this is my other switch. And this is where, on that switch, this was the power coming in. Well, this is the power going out to the light. That's the really only difference on this switch. These two wires connect to the same place on the same switch, on the primary switch. And then this is the one that sends power to the light. You can see here, I've only got one light hooked up, but it's working from this end. And it's going to work from this end. We're back. It's Thursday, the 8th of February. And so far, it's been a decent day. I was able to find, though I set them down, so who knows, some set screws for this dishwasher. Ace Hardware. Man, if you need the weirdest of hardware, Ace is the place. It used to be an outfit called Orchard Supply. They were really good about it too. But yeah, went over to Home Depot. Nope, they didn't have nothing. But Ace had them. So we can be done with throwing the dishwasher out the window. We'll get that handle on, start getting these cabinets set, working on some more lighting. Did get some more lumber, so I'll at least finish this run across the top here, and hopefully get this thing set today. The microwave's supposed to be in today, so it's going to be a busy day. We'll see how much we get done. Well, guys, today has proven to be a bust. In fact, we have regressed quite a bit. I had to move these lights over one board because they were here. So I came over one, and boy, I had to undo all my wire fasteners and stuff. And now I have to figure out trying to mount the microwave, and I forgot it's got to have an upper shelf to bolt to. So I have to be able to get my hands in there, so I can't just run a board across here and bolt it to that. I've got to bring it down a little bit. And of course, it doesn't sit neatly on these furring strips here, so I've got to fabricate something to go across and then come down. Yeah, yeah, we didn't get very far today. All right, guys, we got a plan. I got dust in my eyes. So I'm going to take a notch out of all these next 3 furring strips and run a support beam that way. And then I'll hang with some brackets. Just a little roof piece here. So that's what we're going to get going on. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm finally back to where I was 2 days ago, with the exception of I now have the bracket for the microwave. I had to add some structure to the roof line to go across the top. I had to move these lights out one. So I basically had to undo everything that I did for 2 days. So anyhow, tomorrow, hopefully we get the microwave set, this panel done, and that wall done. Alright guys, it's Sunday and we got that wall done, and we're going to work on this one today and some of the ceiling. I got some more panels, so we'll get that rolling today. Once it's painted, I can finally hang the microwave. Pay no mind to my little oopsie here. I ended up cutting the window about 6 inches too short, or too long I should say, so that's alright. This will all be covered with backsplash anyways, so we should be good to go. So let's get going. I think it's what, Tuesday 13th, so we made a little bit of progress this week. I'm very pleased with how far we've gotten. As you can see, I've got the overhead put in, and then we got the microwave installed. I still got to put a trim piece up top to cover up that little gap there. We got a couple coats of paint on. I'm really glad we went with the gray accent wall, I guess is what we'll call it. It would have been just too much white in here. I mean, the countertop's going to be gray, and we got some backsplash, but I think it just would have been overpowering. But in messing with one issue, I've found this angle trim is the exact same thickness as this plywood. So I think, well, that'd look nice going around the window. So I got to go get some more of this. We're starting to plumb in the dishwasher. I still got to punch the lines down, the drains and all that, which I think we'll just cover that quickly. And I got some ram board down, and it's a good thing because, boy, this floor is a wreck. But yeah, it's we made a lot of good progress this week. Let me back up here a little bit. And yeah, I'm happy with it. It's coming out. I can start to see the vision. Like I say, now we're just going to start doing this bus 12 feet at a time, which is the same length as these ceiling panels. So this is the second windowsill, and you can really see the wonky cuts I had to do, the notches, the bevels, and everything else to get it to fit the rubber gasket without pushing on the window. And you can see the groove that has to sit in. These blinds from Home Depot, I had them cut them at 62 inches, but I found cutting the metal piece shorter made the install a lot easier, because this was very difficult to install with a full-length metal upper portion there. And here you can kind of see the finished product with the trim on. It fits really nice. In looking at it, yeah, I could have done a little more with the bottom pieces there, but I think for what this is doing, I'm very pleased with it. So guys, so as you can see, we're putting the black on the part of this windowsill that's going to be facing the window, so you can't see it from the outside. That's the goal. Well guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week's video. Next week we're going to work on the epoxy countertops, and I think that's just going to be a segment in and of itself. We've never done anything like it. Hopefully it turns out, because we're taking some perfectly good butcher block counters and coating them with a bunch of epoxy. So hopefully that works out. But anyhow, thanks for watching.